Does this woman have a lot to Lerner? Listen.
I have not done anything wrong. I have not broken any laws. I have not violated any IRS rules or regulations. And while I would very much like to answer the committee's questions today, I've been advised by my counsel to assert my constitutional right not to testify or answer questions related to the subject matter of this hearing.
But wouldn't you know, our judge, Napolitano, said the brief time she was speaking, she might have landed herself in deep doo-doo. Explain, Judge.
Yes, she might have, Neil. Good afternoon, and thanks for having me on with you. Look, there's a couple ways to look at this. The Fifth Amendment has been interpreted by the courts. That's the amendment that says you don't have to testify against yourself as an all-or-nothing proposition. You either give no testimony, other than saying who you are, or you answer all questions truthfully. If witnesses were permitted to pick and choose which question to answer, then they would control the forum rather than the questioner. So she either waived her Fifth Amendment right by making her statement, meaning she now has to answer everything, or she certainly waived her Fifth Amendment right about the statements she made. So when she said, I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't break any laws, I didn't violate any IRS procedures, she waived her Fifth Amendment right on those three categories: anything wrong, federal laws, IRS procedures. And the House of Representatives can go around the corner to a federal judge, not far from where I am now, and get an order directing her to answer their questions on those three subject matters because she volunteered to say that before she invoked the Fifth Amendment protection.
So if Darrell Issa wants to bring her back to the House to talk more about this, he can. He could subpoena her, and she could either go through this again, or she could be questioned on these areas that she mentioned in her introductory remarks before she stopped talking.
And then if she refuses to answer questions about the three statements you just ran her making, anything wrong, federal law, IRS regulations, Darrell Issa, the chairman of the committee, can get the House of Representatives to issue a subpoena and get that subpoena enforced by a federal judge in a federal courthouse around the corner from where she made these statements. She either got very bad legal advice, which told her she could make these statements, or she was more concerned with her image and was worried that by invoking the Fifth Amendment she would appear guilty. But by making those statements, she opened up the door to a fair round of questioning on at least those three topics: anything wrong, federal laws, IRS regulations. And Neil, that's all they want to ask her about, is those three areas.
I completely missed that. Judge, let me ask you, when someone pleads the Fifth, obviously they take the risk of looking like they're hiding something, but there's a legal reason for it and to it. What is it?
In her case, the legal reason is she doesn't know where this is going to go. She doesn't know if there will be civil litigation against the IRS and she will be called as a witness. She doesn't know if somebody in the IRS will be indicted and she'll be called as a witness. So by not saying something under oath now, she is free to answer questions in the future without having to worry about how she answered them today. This is a privilege that we have under the Fifth Amendment, and her lawyers ought to have explained that to her. Had she not made those initial denials, she'd be home free.
Now, when you also plead the Fifth, don't you help your cause if you want to be pardoned?
Well, if you plead the Fifth and successfully plead it, that is, you don't make any statements, and then ask for a pardon, if you've been charged with a crime, there's no record of any statement you've made. The House of Representatives can't grant a pardon, but it can grant immunity from prosecution.
But I was thinking for the president,
it
could be the president to say, just, she's been through too much, pardon her.
Only the president can pardon.
Gotcha.
But the House could say, whatever you say to us in answer to our questions can't be used in any prosecution against you. She'd have no choice but to answer. They've not gotten to that point yet.
Thank you, my friend, very, very much. Napolitano.